All right, so today we have Chris McFerrin with us, and he's going to talk to us about the color of money. This is an awesome tool anyone can use, and there is no charge to use this service. You can visit my website, you can click the link, and you can get your own color of money report. So, Chris, what is a COMRA?
Great question. So this is something we've been having a lot of success with over the last, oh my goodness, probably 15 years now. COMRA, in short, stands for Color of Money Risk Analysis. So my advisors actually start their every first appointment with this concept. Anytime you get a lead, regardless of where it came from, starting them down this process makes it very easy to start the retirement planning and asset allocation process. So knowing that and talking about investments, and this is probably the biggest thing, it's very intimidating if you don't do it a lot. It's getting into a realm of something you're not quite sure of, that you might not have all the answers to. And so that's what's nice about this, is it keeps it very high level. It gets you into the pros and cons of each type of asset, because not one is better than the other. We don't have the crystal ball to be able to say, no, you need this asset class or this asset class. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different risk tolerance. Especially if you're nearing retirement, we usually say you probably need more safety in your portfolio than risk. So yeah, as I was saying, color of money, it's a concept that our owner created to make it easy for these clients to understand the different type of assets that they're going to be looking at for their future. And it makes the advisors, I was saying earlier, a lot more confident in getting into that retirement planning conversation, because it is so high level and easy. You'll see here we have the red money and we have green money. Now there's pros and cons of both. Green money, you have principal protection, which is the main thing with green money. You do get some upside potential and index market returns, not as good as red money, but you're safe. You don't have fees. Now they're not extremely liquid. Usually you have to wait till they're out of surrender. But that's the main thing you want with green money, is that principal protection. Red money is the opposite. It's money that's in the market. It's designed to grow. It does not have any principal protection. It does have good liquidity. It usually has fees involved, but we have to get an idea of these clients thinking, okay, what is right for my situation? Okay, how much do we have of red money versus green money? Because the last thing we want as we head into retirement is going to be we see some market correction. We lose 20% in the first couple of years. That could be devastating to somebody's retirement plan if they see a market correction early on. So we need to make sure to prepare them and get them into a situation to be protected if something like that does happen. Okay. And so this is the main goal of COMRA, is the general net worth. You'll find out about the client. We'll find out their feelings towards risk, if their investments are aligned with that risk tolerance, if income is going to be a concern or not, and then talk about possibly realigning assets to become properly allocated based on their risk tolerance. And so obviously our main hope is to see if annuities are right for them. And so the older you get, you can imagine the more and more safe money or green money that you probably need. And so this is the Color of Money Risk Analysis flyer that we've created. And really, it's just a great piece to leave with clients after you've delivered the Medicare or the health policy, wherever the client came from. Say, hey, if you have not done a risk tolerance assessment before, you need to go to this website. And I'll show you an example of the website here in a second. But go to this website, fill out these 11 questions. It takes about 5 minutes. And what's nice is once they've done that, you, the advisor, get a lead to follow up with. And that lead will tell you their answers and it'll give you their score, prompting a phone call or an email to say, hey, if you have not done a true assessment on your portfolio, come in, we can get you a free report showing you how much you have on one side or the other and how much you might need to realign to become properly allocated in retirement. And so I mentioned a score. And so this is the score we get the clients 1 through 100, and we find out how in touch they are with their risk tolerance. Okay, gives them an immediate feedback about their feelings about risk, and really creates a strong foundation for that first fact-finding appointment. So you'll see here, and this one's my personal one. We've got one customized up for Shannon, but this is just one of the things that we provide for all of our advisors. So this is 11 questions. I'm going to kind of breeze through, but just to give you an idea. How would you like to complete the analysis? Most of it's joint with a spouse. My financial goal, primary financial goal, is maximizing income, leaving a legacy, not running out of money, or growing my assets. Let's click on not running out of money. When it comes to financial decisions, I consider myself, and this is where you get them thinking, okay, how smart are you? You've been on Wall Street your whole life, or are you just putting money under the mattress every month? So most of the people fall in somewhat knowledgeable. Then we have on the road to retirement. I am made it, less than 5 years away, 5 to 10, more than 10. So we'll just do less than 5 years away. My attitude towards risk is a small loss would concern me. I'm comfortable taking some risk, but I'm conservative. I'm growth oriented, and I understand my assets may go up or down, or I am very aggressive. So most of them fall within the comfortable taking some risk, but conservative. The older they get, the more safety and in theory that they are looking for. And this just gets them thinking about that as well. So what I like about this one is current household income, it gives a range. So it's not very invasive saying, tell me how much you made last year. Just give us an idea. So we'll go 100 to 250. This is where we really have to have them start thinking about where their retirement income is going to come from. So during retirement, I'll rely on my income from my assets heavily, moderately, somewhat, not at all. So what kind of rental income or what kind of plan money do you have guaranteed coming in right now? We know Social Security is going to be a big one, but how many pensions do you have? Do you have a bunch of rental properties or side businesses that you're making money on? So we'll just put moderately rely on my income for my assets. So this is leading into from that previous question. Some retirement income sources are stable. So Social Security, pensions, others are less stable. So rental income, again, side businesses. So what does your retirement income source right now, assuming we're not doing anything different, how stable are your current retirement income sources? And we'll do unstable. This is another one I like because it gives us a range. It doesn't tell me how much you're worth, but just give us an idea, not including your residence, your net worth. I actually had a guy in Scottsdale, Arizona. He had a client call him saying, hey, my neighbor just inherited 50 grand. Can you go see her and help her out? Most advisors would, call her up, say, come into my office or I'll come over and I'll have the application ready. He sent her this link to fill out and found out that she clicked the button for $2 million or more. So that appointment went significantly different than what he originally had in mind. He ended up gathering all of her assets and wrote a lot more than just the $50,000 she inherited.
Right.
So inflation's fresh in everybody's mind right now with prices through the roof on everything. But historically, inflation averages about 2 to 3% per year. So relative to that, I would like my assets to keep pace with inflation with minimal risk, moderately outpace it with some risk, significantly outpace it with high risk, and maximize performance with substantial risk. So most people are going to fall in the moderately outpace with some risk.
That's what I put.
If I place 250 grand in an asset for 5 years, I'd be most comfortable with the following best and worst case scenario. Okay, so as you can see here, the ranges again just gets them thinking about how how they feel about risk and when they stop working and don't have that income coming in on a regular paycheck, is that going to change their idea about risk? Okay, so we'll go worst 250, best 330. If I lost 20%, what would I do? Immediately sell, change investment options, stay the course, or add money while it's down. Most are going to say change to a more conservative option. But here now we have our score. All right. So you can see color of money report. So in this case, this client had a score of 45. It shows you what all the different investment types are and gives you a little bit of details about them. But they fell within a balanced investor. Here's our color of money. It gives us a talking between red, green. Then it breaks down the current asset allocation. So they've taken the score, they've brought in all their statements and fact finders. We've got a team of CFPs, CFAs, CPAs. They put all these reports together for our advisors, which is really nice. You have a good industry professionals behind you doing the work. So it saves you a ton of time. If they brought their shoebox of statements to you and put it on the counter, it's going to take you at least an hour just to get everything organized, make sure there's not duplicate statements in here, get it into the spreadsheet of allocating between what's what. And this we're going to do all of that heavy lifting for you. And that's one of my favorite things about our service called Case Central is it saves my advisors hours a week on just case prep. So we've got the breakdown here between red and green. Now this shows us currently they've got $1 million, but they're currently sitting at a 95, but based on their answers, they need to be down to a 45, which means instead of 50 grand green, they need 550 grand in green. So it shows them where their current situation is. The difference is here. And then it tells you are overexposed to at-risk assets by $500,000, and moving this amount to green money may better align with your risk tolerance. And so it keeps it, again, conceptual. If they say, no, I'm not comfortable with this, okay, well, let's retake those 11 questions. Maybe the score will change a little bit. But reminding them as well, assuming this is red money and not yellow money, we're just showing you to take $500,000 because you still have almost $500,000 in risky money. That's your fun money, your play money. But what this moving the 500,000 is going to do is to make sure to secure a large portion of your nest egg and assets in case something bad does happen. The tariff war at the beginning of this year, if you're not good at predicting all of those things, your retirement could be in jeopardy. And the main thing we want to do is make sure you don't have to go back to work. We want you to be doing all the golfing, all the traveling that you can without having to worry about looking at your bank account every month.
So let me make sure I got this right. Red money would be things that you're paying someone a fee to manage your money. Green would be you're not paying someone a fee to manage your money, which is huge. People don't realize a 1% fee with most of these investment firms equates out to 28.8% of their total nest egg. So if you had $1 million in retirement, people think, well, I paid a 1%. That's 10 grand. Mathematically, yes, that is correct. But because of compounding interest over time of 30, 35 years, that turns into about $300,000 of your money that they actually took. So there's no fees with green money. There are fees with red money. Another difference I'm guessing would be that you're saying with red money, I can lose money. With green money, I simply can't lose money, right?
Correct.
Because I'm not directly investing money in the market. Can you talk about that? And because that's a question people ask all the time is, okay, over here, I've got stocks. I understand that I'm putting money in. Market goes up, I gain money. Market goes down, I lose money. But over here, we're growing money based off a stock market index. But when the market goes down, I can't lose money. And they're like, how?
Yep, 100%. And that's just how the assets classes are designed. They have several different types of, as you can imagine, conservative, moderate, aggressive investment options out there. And we need to get clients thinking about some of these more conservative options because that's the main goal in retirement. If we lose 20% of our $1 million, we don't need a 20% return to get back to $1 million. We need closer to a 30% return to get back to our $1 million. And so the older you get, the more and more safety these clients need in retirement because our main goal, as we mentioned, is not running out of money. And if, again, as I said earlier, running out of money is not the account value going to zero. It's you took a hit, you don't have the assets to be able to keep your retirement income stable. And now you're taking, instead of 5% per year off of $1 million, well, now you're taking 5% per year off of 800,000 because we saw some sort of market correction early on. And now if you're taking 5% off of the 800, now it's even harder to get back to that $1 million because you're taking money and you need those big returns to get back to where you started at. And so in retirement, let me back up. There's two phases of investing in somebody's lifetime. You have what's called your accumulation phase. Pretty much anybody under the age of 50 is living in their accumulation phase. You don't need the safe money as much because you have time to recover if we do see some sort of market correction because you're working, you're getting that monthly paycheck that's coming in, and that's what you're living on. So you're not thinking about your assets as much or losing money. You're just wanting to accumulate as much as possible. Now 50 hits, you're starting to think about retirement. It's getting around the corner. Okay, so you've already worked for 30 years accumulating this big nest egg that you're going to use for your retirement. And that's what red money did for you. But now we need to make sure that if something happens, we can make sure that you have that guaranteed income plan, regardless of what the market does, regardless of what you want to be doing in retirement. And that's what you want to get out of them in the first appointment. What does your dream retirement look like? Again, you want to be golfing, traveling? If you want to be golfing, you want the nice high-end country club. If you're traveling, you wanting the European vacations, or are you just going to take your RV all over the country? But getting them thinking about that retirement dream for them and what they want to be doing, because we want to see as the advisor, if it's possible, to get them a plan to make sure that they can enjoy that retirement without having to worry about their bank account every single month. If we can some way, and gets you into you're over 50, now you're in the income phase of retirement, or you're getting close to the income phase of retirement, where you're not getting that paycheck every month from your employer. You've got to rely on the money that you've dumped in and you've grown over these years to make ends meet, because essentially pensions are the thing of the past. That's what everybody relied on back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, those pensions for their retirement and Social Security.
Annuity is a pension, technically.
100%. Yep. And so that's where the annuity comes in developing them, getting them on that income plan, because we don't have a lot of those stable income sources in retirement anymore. Social Security is really it. And if you are lucky enough to be getting a pension, but still there might be a income gap. You're getting, we'll say, $5,000 a month between Social Security and your pension, but your lifestyle is saying you need $100,000 per year. And so we need to find how much of an income gap is there and see if we can bridge that income gap using green money, because our main goal is to get them that guaranteed retirement. And that's why it's so important for green money, because you cannot lose any money. And going back to the split, moving the 500,000, we're not taking all of your money, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. We're just securing a portion of it. You still have $500,000 over here that can be your play money. That can be your, I want to go play in Bitcoin or play the market or buy Tesla stock, whatever it may be. That's your money for that. But it's so important. You've got to have another portion of your money set for the guaranteed, for the storms, so to speak, in retirement. Because red money, when it's stormy and choppy, you're going to be looking at the bank account every day, and you're going to be upset by a 5% loss in one day or a bad month. If we have it secured where we've got a big portion in green and you still have a big portion in the market, well, now if something happens, we don't have to go back to work. We don't have to cancel the golf membership or the extra vacation that year, because we've got a big section of your portfolio nice and secure. And that's what the best part about green money is. For guys like you and me, Shannon, we probably don't need a lot of green money right now. We're, younger gentlemen. And so we can weather a storm if we see a market correction, because we have our money coming in from our employments. When you go to retirement, that's not happening anymore. And so the older you get, that's when we need to start looking at more and more green money. The worst thing that could happen is you're getting ready to retire. Everything's good. You're pumped. You've got your travel plans all laid out. And then that next month, COVID hits. Something hits in the market and we lose 20%. Now you're thinking, well, boy, I had an income plan kind of in mind, but I just lost 20%. I might have to keep working for another couple of years to make that money back. Right. And by securing your portfolio like this, you're a lot more insulated from any current event, topic, political issue, whatever it may be, from having to go back to work or having to cancel the golf or the traveling.
Yeah, I always say that whenever people are younger, if you're 30 years old, there's not a good chance you have $1 million on a 401k. So when the market takes a 50% crash and you lose half your money, you might have 50 grand in there. You might lose 25 grand. You have time during your life to grow that 25 grand back. But if you're 60 and 2008 hits, COVID hits, something that causes us to, lose 20%, 40%, whatever, half of our money, and you have $1 million and you just lost 500,000 and you plan to retire in 5 years, you do not have time to get that money back. So, like you said earlier, it may be that red money has more potential to grow, but green money is kind of like the turtle to me. It's slow and steady, wins the race. kind of thing. So,
Absolutely.
but anyway, so I was saying, so green money, there's typically no taxes, penalties, fees. Red money, obviously there is all that. With green money, you typically even get a legacy benefit and sometimes living benefits. And with red money, you don't get that.
But you're exactly right. I mean, we need to make sure, because again, younger guys, you have time to recover those assets because you're getting that monthly paycheck from your employer and you're not retiring for a long time. So for young people, red money is a very, very good solution. Most of my money is in the market because something happens, I have plenty of time for that to recover. But when you start drawing income off of that money and we see a market correction, it makes it almost impossible to get back to where we started and to make ends meet. We've got to adjust our income plan essentially, or adjust our plans in retirement if we see a big correction, because you don't have that time to earn it back if something bad happens.
If you'd like your own free COMRA report, simply go to this website, scroll down until you see Color of Money Risk Analysis, and go ahead and take it. It takes about 5 minutes. After you submit that, I'll get it and I'll contact you soon. Thanks. Have a great day.